As a finance professional, I'm often asked whether when I'm interviewed or when I'm in social or family settings, I'm often asked the same question. The question I'm regularly asked is, what has been your biggest investment mistake? And people expect me to tell them a story of a market event, a crack, stock market crack, or, something a bit juicy, something a bit Hollywood inspired, from the financial market and from my, my long experience. So actually the reality is my biggest investment mistake in the past has not been a particular time in the market or a sukuk I decided to buy that went bust, or a stock or crypto, or not really. What has been my biggest investment mistake is not realizing what is my competitive edge in the market. And I'm sharing that with you because I think this is probably one of the most overlooked aspects of investment that no one is really talking about it. So what do I mean by competitive edge? Competitive edge is basically looking at your professional, personal, behavioral, mental, circumstantial, environmental characteristics and particularities or idiosyncrasies and wondering how you can benefit. So for example, let me give you an example. If you're a doctor and you are specialized in, you're an oncologist, you're specialized in certain type of cancer, certain type of treatment. So you will have a better understanding. Of course, you study that for numerous years, you have practiced it, you have a real tangible underground expertise on a very particular subject matter that no hedge fund manager, no asset manager, no traders, no bank will be, or analyst will be able to supersede, will be able to, to beat at all, right? Even with the biotech analyst, even with the best of research and data, nobody's going to be able to beat you as a professional, or that brother or sister as a oncologist. So why would that person venture into learning and mastering and making money in industrial stocks or import-export of agricultural products? Why? I mean, why would you do that? Why would you want to waste time and energy and bandwidth and mental capabilities to learn, to practice, to fail, to learn from the mistake, while you already have a competitive advantage in the market? You already can, in the medical field, in the biotech field, in the, the big pharma field, or whatever medically related field, from the startups to the stocks, to, the fixed income instruments, to venture capital, private equity, to the whole instruments at your disposal that can allow you to express financially your edge, your professional edge. So why would you want to venture outside of that to learn a completely different area with its particularities and experience and regulation and rules and big players and official rules, non-official rules? Why? Why would you want to waste that time? I have wasted that time under the pretense of intellectual curiosity, or the worst, diversification. Yeah, diversification is great. And I'm not saying you have to be, if you're a doctor, you only have to be invested in healthcare. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, why would you not double, triple, quadruple down on something that you are already mastering, that you already have an edge? You're already ahead of 99% of the market, of market participants, for you to anticipate trend, understand regulation, understand what technology works or doesn't work, understand which are the big players and how can they succeed, how can they fail. And then when you have already that professional expertise and natural, I would say, instinctive knowledge based on years and years and years of practice and experience, plus your network, then you can come to a financial specialist to tell you, okay, this is what I want to do. What are the asset classes? What are the instruments at my disposal in order to express that view, in order to express the knowledge, the edge that you already have? That's the mistake I've made. looking into particular type of investment. Let me give you an example. Few years back, I invested in a website. I bought a website. The reason why I bought a website is because I discovered, that seems pretty ridiculous for aficionados of the Ecom or the online or digital asset, but I discovered what sort of return someone who owned an Amazon store or dropshipping store or online store, an affiliate, a website could make. And I was surprised because my referential would be Sukuk, would be dividend stocks, would be REITs, ETF, those financial instruments. When I ventured outside and I realized, wait a second, I can buy a website that will essentially give me a return on investment of 20%, 25% on an annual basis. I'm thinking this is insane. And that was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when interest rates were very low and making decent return in the market wasn't that easy. So I'm thinking double digit on something that is real. You have an asset, you actually own a website, you own the domain, you own the all the infrastructure. So there is actually a business here that is giving you decent return, good margin with little involvement, right? So I bought one of those very proudly. And for the first few weeks, I looked into my daily income. It was affiliate website. So I was earning commission based on the affiliate link that I was basically distributing within my website. And that was great. That was amazing. Each time every day I'm refreshing and I'm earning $100 here, $150 here, $90 here. At the end of the day, at the end of the month, it adds up. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So on average, I can make $3,000 to $4,000 on a monthly basis without having to do anything. After 5 weeks, I'm refreshing and I'm realizing, wait a second. Why is suddenly my curve of earnings is like a cliff? It's falling off a cliff. It's basically went from $100 to $150 per day to $3 per day, $1 per day, $0. What is happening here? And then I realized, there is something in the whole online referencing website that is the most important factor that can exist and that has to be mitigated as a risk, which is the Google algorithm. And Google regularly updates its referencing algorithm. So my ranking for different keywords went from 3 to 4 for certain keywords on the first page of Google or the second page to the 10th page of Google. How many of you have ever clicked to check a search result at the 10th page of Google? None of us, because the update has been made and I was no longer competitive. Well, I'm not gonna get into the detail of it, but I found myself extremely stupid because I looked at an investment through the lenses of a professional investor, but in an area realm that had absolutely nothing to do. We're playing by different rules, different regulation, different risk parameter, different return parameter, and completely outside of my scope of expertise. I made then the mistake of not surrounding myself with proper website expert that would have warned me. No, I looked at it as a digital asset, a halal income generating digital asset. Well, the honeymoon period lasted for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, less than 2 months, to essentially see my website, my investment lose 99% of its value. Bottom line is I learned the hard way what it is to dismiss your competitive edge, your natural edge, which in my case would be financial assets, sukuk to be particular, to go venture into an area where I had no expertise, I had experience, I had very little knowledge, I had zero network, and I didn't understand the code. That was my biggest investment mistake. Pay attention to it. Don't let yourself fooled or seduced by the sirens of the adage, the proverb, the grass might be a bit greener elsewhere. It isn't at all.